Okay, so here we are. As promised, here is the first video in a series of videos where I'll be talking about shoulder pain, shoulder biomechanics, and what you guys can do to improve those things. Before we get into the video, let me cover a couple of key phrases that outline the movement of the shoulder blade and the arm and the shoulder joint. Okay? First phrase being shoulder protraction, second, shoulder retraction, third, arm internal rotation, and arm external rotation. Okay, so shoulder protraction just means that the shoulder blade comes up and away from the spine, that way. Shoulder retraction is when the shoulder blade goes in towards the spine, like that. Shoulder internal rotation just outlines the movement of the upper arm bone curling inwards like that, or rotating inwards like that. And then shoulder external rotation is when the arm curls or rotates outwards like this. Okay, hopefully that was clear in the explanation. So as you can see, my athlete here, her name is Rianne. She has a barbell in her arms in an overhead position, in a wide overhead position, I should say, and she's going to perform an overhead squat. A couple of key things to point out here is that her shoulder, when she's standing, is in a pretty good ideal position, meaning that her shoulder is protracted downwards towards her spine this way, and then her shoulder is also externally rotated outwards this way. As she drops into an overhead squat, what you'll see is her shoulder blade is going to protract, meaning it's going to come forward, and her shoulder is also going to internally rotate. And hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about in just a second here. So I'm going to play this video in slow-mo so you guys can see what's going on, and I'll pause it again to point out a couple things, okay? So here we go. So she's going to drop into an overhead squat, looking pretty good, and right about here is when she starts to have a bit of trouble, right? As you can see, actually let me zoom in so you guys can see a little clearer. As you can see, her shoulder joint in the front, right about here, right, starts to dip forwards. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then also her arm starts to internally rotate like that, okay? And at the bottom, hopefully you guys can tell the difference between her shoulder positioning at the bottom as it was from the top. Okay, so let me zoom out so you guys can see a little bit more. So let's come back to the top. Right? So pretty good position here, and as she drops into her second overhead squat, you can see her shoulder blade coming into a less than ideal position. Again, it comes into protraction, the shoulder blade does, and then her upper arm comes into internal rotation here. Okay, so in the next clip, you're going to see her perform an exercise that I prescribed to her to help improve this problem. So here is Rianne again. As you can see, actually let me fast forward to her start position. So in the start position of this movement, you can see Rianne's shoulder blade is very far protracted forwards this way, right? And she's also has her shoulder in a lot of internal rotation this way, okay? So as she goes through this movement, you'll see her shoulder blade come in this way like this, and then you'll see her shoulder, her upper arm bone in the humerus externally rotate this way, okay? Hopefully you guys can see that. So let me slow-mo movement this here. So start position here, you see her shoulder blade comes in like that, and then her arm move externally rotated like that. So again, let's watch that again. Start position, her shoulder blade is protracted, internally rotated. She's going to retract and externally rotate her arm right there. Okay, one more time. Protracted, internally rotated, retracted, externally rotated. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see what she's doing and the muscles that she's contracting and the position of the shoulder that she's trying to assume in this overhead position. If you're having trouble doing an overhead squat while trying to pack your shoulders in its biomechanically correct position, or you're catching a snatch and your shoulders are kind of dumping forward and you feel a little loose in the catch position, try this exercise out, see if it helps. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. If you're on Instagram, go ahead and double tap. If you're on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe, like, or ask any questions or make any comments in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks.